as teachers, we have this saying that there are no bad questions. And obviously, that's a silly way to put it. And I don't know why that phrasing of it has lasted as long as it has. What that really means is, if there is something that you need to know in order to understand the topic that we're talking about today, I don't care how long ago you were supposed to have learned it. Like, even if this is something that we went over in the first week of class that we've been reviewing literally every single day and using every single day on every unit so far, and we're near the end of the year, like, if we're talking about gerund phrases right now, and you don't know what a noun is, I don't care. I want you to ask that question so I know where you're at and I can help you get further. At least when someone asks that question, sure, that question probably should have been asked a long time ago, but you know what? They're asking it now. And this is an opportunity for me to actually do my job for maybe the first time that I've had that year with that student, because they're actually listening to my answer. I'm saying it directly to them, and it's something that they are much more likely to process and commit to memory once they hear it after they've asked it. So I'm always happy to answer those kinds of questions. You know, I'm always happy to get to the basics. I've always said, if someone wants to come on my show for a VOD review and they've never even touched a controller before, I am happy to do that. I will meet you at whatever level you are at and help you work your way up. But if the question demonstrates that you are unwilling to make any effort of your own towards learning something, towards developing a skill, that you're not going to take any information I give you and add to it with your own experience, that you're not going to think critically about anything that I say or try to apply it to in-game situations, if you're just looking for the answer, if you take your multiple choice quiz up to me and go, hey, Mr. Teacher, is it C? I'm not going to answer that question, because that sort of dependency on an authority figure is very easily manipulated. It's something that I need to get you to not be used to. If you go forward into life after you have teachers or professors or parents or whatever other authority figure to ask questions of, and you're still looking for answers in that way, you're just going to flock to the person who's talking the most confidently, because you're not going to use the critical thinking to analyze whether you think that person is a reasonable source. You're just going to look at them and go, sounds good to me. That's the way I'm going to live my life. And there are a lot of people whose entire livelihoods are based on taking advantage of that, on grifting, on the ignorance, the lack of critical thought that is put towards the ideas that they're saying on the camera. That's a dangerous landscape, especially right now when it's so easy to get those kinds of ideas out. So when a student asks me a question like that in class, I'm not going to answer it. That is a bad question. And I keep getting this bad question about Splatoon over and over again. And it's a question that, to be clear, I have videos answering. The question is, hey, I'm in insert rank here. How do I get out of it? What am I doing wrong? And on one hand, I have videos on that subject. On the other hand, I'm getting this question in tweets. I'm getting this question in stream chats. I'm getting this question in YouTube comments. And in that format, how am I supposed to know what the answer to that question is? Like, should I tell you, oh, you should be backing up more and keeping your range and using your range against them? I don't know if you're playing a Sploosh or a Hydra, man. How am I supposed to have an answer to that question? It's like, imagine someone comes up to you, you're on a plane, okay? You've never met this person before, you never will again, and you know that they don't know you either. And they just come up to you and they're like, hey, what am I doing wrong in basketball? In that context, you have no way to establish how they play basketball or anything about it. I guess maybe you can look at them and be like, you're too short, lol, and that's about the best that you're going to be able to give them. That's more than I can give you for Splatoon. Like, it's very strange to me that this is such a common thing when the slightest amount of thought would tell you that there's either a way too long answer for that. Like, if this is a tweet, I have 280 characters. I cannot sum that all up in one tweet. The game is not that simple. Very few games are that simple. I don't even know if you can explain the algorithm for winning tic-tac-toe in that time. Maybe you can. But that's about as far as it goes, and that's a solved game. This game has over 50 weapons in it, and all of them play differently. And some of them are better than others. So, like, I don't understand what someone thinks they're going to get out of that question. Try to find something more specific. Like, if you ask me, hey, I play 52 gal, what's the general play style of that weapon? Now I can go, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to put out a wall, and then you're going to push up with that wall. And you're going to use the wall so that you can recharge ink behind the wall safely while still staying forward instead of having to back up to do that. And then you can put out another wall and just keep ratcheting your way forward until you force them to deal with you. And then you can win a fight because your weapon 2 shots and has a really fast kill time. That's something that I can answer in a pretty reasonable amount of time. But when you don't give me any other information, when you don't give me like anything more specific, if you're just asking me how win game, that feels to me not like a question, that feels like a complaint. That feels like I am not winning the game when I expect to win the game, and I am frustrated by it. Validate my frustration. I'm not going to do that. It's a hard game. That's the reason that I play it. I play it because it's not easy to be good at. I haven't spent any time playing tic-tac-toe in a long while, because that's an easy solved game. I can explain how to win that game very quickly. But that doesn't make me feel cool, it doesn't make me feel powerful, it doesn't make me feel expressive for being able to win it. So, like, if you're interested in actually learning something, then find a way to ask a better question. And if you're not interested in learning something, that's okay. You don't have to be any better at this game than you are. But if you're not honest with yourself about that, then you're going to keep pushing yourself and stressing yourself over something you're not actually going to take the steps that you need in order to learn it. And that's just not a way to be a happy person. So decide whether you actually care about learning the thing. And if you do care about learning the thing, come up with a question that I can actually answer, and now we'll be getting somewhere.